Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back. As usual, before we start, let's get clarity whether it is visible and my voice is audible or not. Whether this slide is visible or not, please verify it. Okay, good. Thank you. So, how many have joined? 30 are there. So the next topic that we are going to concentrate on after learning what are the access modifiers, we are going to learn about conversions, and we are going to see what is the actual difference between them. What is a conversion? Changing a value from one data type to another data type is called as conversion. Changing from one data type to another data type is called as a conversion. Okay, in simple terms. Now there are two types of conversions. One is implicit conversion, second is explicit conversion. Implicit conversion means that change of data type will happen automatically and it is done by the compiler itself. We will not specifically mention to convert from one data type to another data type. That means I am not telling specifically what should be the data type into which it should be converted. I am just telling it onto the compiler to convert it. Okay, but in case of explicit, I will mention what should be the another data type into which the data type should get converted. Okay, I will mention explicitly what should be the data type into which the already existing data type should get converted into. Okay, so there are two types of conversions. One is implicit, second is explicit. Fine. Now casting is the explicit conversion. Casting is explicit conversion, but if we are trying to convert one data type into another data type and these two data types are not compatible with each other, compatible in the sense, for example, if I am trying to convert integer to float, they are compatible. Suppose short data type to integer data type, they are compatible. Suppose byte data type to integer data type, they are compatible. Why I am telling compatible? As we know, suppose if I am converting integer to float, integer size is 4 bytes, float size is 4 bytes. I am converting data from one categorization to another categorization, which are of same size, which has same size requirements. Suppose if I am converting a data type from byte to integer, byte takes 1 byte, integer takes 4 bytes. In case of Java, integer takes 4 bytes. Okay, do remember this thing. In case of C and C++, integer takes 2 bytes. But here in case of our Java, it takes 4 bytes. So if I am converting byte to integer, that means byte is taking 1 byte of memory location, integer takes 4 bytes. If I store a smaller data into a larger data, I can accommodate it. But suppose if a larger data is to be stored inside a smaller space, can it be stored? No. That means if two data types are said to be compatible, then that means one can be put it into another. Okay? Clear now? But if incompatible type of data types are being casted from one to another, then that is called as casting. Then that conversion is called as casting. Now, widening or narrowing, the same thing I said earlier. If I convert byte to short, which is of 2 bytes, byte is only 1 byte here, short is of 2 bytes, integer is of 4 bytes, long is 4 bytes, float is 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes. If a smaller data type is converted into a bigger data type, it's called as widening. Similarly, all these. Okay, narrowing, if a bigger data type is converted into a smaller one, it's called as narrowing, as shown in the below points. Okay, narrowing conversion should follow certain thumb rules. Thumb rules means specified rules which can never change. Okay, those rules are: first thing, narrowing conversion should be explicit. It's typecasting, it's not type conversion. We need to specify into which category it should be converted to. Second, target type needed to specified in parentheses. In what data type we wanted the data to get converted into, we should specify in the parentheses. Clear? But do remember here, you will have loss of data in case of narrowing. You will have loss of data in case of narrowing. Suppose 4 bytes of data is there. If you are converting into 1 byte, that means 3 bytes of data will be lost. Okay. Java will allow you to convert it. Java will allow you to typecast it. But there will be loss of data that you need to tolerate. Okay. Now, few programs I have written here for widening and narrowing purpose. Please go through them carefully. Here I have declared one variable I, and I have kept few values inside, one value inside it, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I am initializing 1, 2, 3, 4 back to f, which is a float variable. I am trying to display both the values, and it will display some result back. So this type of conversion, the conversion which will happen for I to f, is actually what type of conversion? It's a widening type of conversion, because I is integer, which is a smaller data type. F is a float, which is a bigger data type. So if a smaller data type to bigger data type conversion happens, it's called as widening. Okay. So I kept few other functions very similar to that one. Here I am explicitly mentioning what is the string value to be noted down. Suppose here, why I have written integer and then int value is, this 5 has not been initialized as a numerical 5 value. It has been taken as a string 5 value. So for converting string to integer type, what I am trying to do is, I am making use of one predefined class called as integer, and I am passing what is the value contained in this string, that is within the double quotes 5, and I am making use of one predefined function called as int value to convert that value 5 to its numerical value, and I am keeping that numerical value into I value. Okay. Now here I have introduced you try catch block also, which we'll be learning in the next coming on sessions in the 5th unit. Just to show you how they look like, I have introduced them. Don't get confused with that. But I'll also say a few things about it so that you will get very familiar with that. The thing is, while converting this one, we know that string is a bigger data type, integer is a smaller data type. To convert bigger to smaller, there may be loss of data also, and the conversion may not succeed. If conversion is not succeeding, or if there is loss of data, then our program will get corrupted. Okay, so to make sure that the program doesn't halt, even if there is some problem with the conversions, I am going to put that block of code which is converting the data where I am expecting some error to happen. I am thinking that while converting string to integer value, it may give some error. For imagination, here 5 is kept in double quotes. Suppose ABC is kept in double quotes. What will be the int value doing with ABC? Can it convert it into numerical value? No. So in that case, this conversion fails. So should my program get halted just because of that conversion problem? No. It should proceed further, right? So I'm telling that try this conversion. If this conversion fails, catch that particular error. And if that error is of number format exception, this is a predefined class. And if it is of this particular category, print that particular details about that error. Print stack trace is a predefined method of we call them as exceptions, and print stack trace will display in which line number that exception happened, what is the exception name, what is to be done with that exception, all those details. Okay, this all try, catch, block, exception handling will be dealt in the fifth or sixth unit, most probably. So just to introduce you, I have kept this particular program also here. Now, I have kept for your homework certain programs and you are expected to expect or predict what is the output that will be given for this particular programs. Okay. So please go through those this slide, pause the video and go through these slides and predict that particular outputs. Okay. Similarly, here also I kept one more program which you need to go through and understand what it is doing, whether it is type conversion, whether it is narrowing, or whether it is typecasting, or what it is. You have to go through this and detect. So coming next to the topic, we are concentrating on Java arrays, how the arrays are going to be created in Java. Going back to the C and C++ days where arrays were first introduced to you, in simple terms, array is a data type, is a data structure. It's not a data type, it's a data structure which is used to represent a bunch of variables. Instead of using one name for each variable, we'll use a common name for a bunch of variables, and these bunch of variables are of same type. These bunch of variables are of same type. Suppose I have got 10 integer variables. Instead of giving A, B, C, D, so on till 10, I will use only one variable name called as A, and I will specify how many variables I am going to represent using A of 10. Okay, simple. So array is a data structure which stores a fixed size of sequential collection of elements. This is the definition that has been given for the Java arrays, which you need to remember. So in simple terms, array is a name given to a bunch of memory locations which contain the same type of values. How do we declare arrays in Java? The declaration is simple and there are two ways for doing it. One is by using the Java's way, second is C++ way. The C++ way is first we will write the data type and then we will write the array name, and within the square brackets we will mention how many variables are going to be represented using that array name. Okay, but in Java there is one more syntax. You can use either of it. Beside the data type itself, you will mention how many elements are of that data type and what is the name that you are going to use to represent that memory location. So basically, this is a clear-cut way of telling that I'm having 10 elements of this particular data type, and those 10 are being referred with a particular name. Clear? So create an array, we will create arrays by using a new keyword, by using a new operator. Do remember, we will create arrays using new operator. In the C++ also you created arrays using new operator. What was that creation called as? Dynamic array creation. It was called as dynamic arrays creation. Here also in Java there are dynamic array creations wherein you will use new keyword to declare that particular array. How we are creating it? Array name equal to new data type which you wanted to create for, and then the number of elements that you wanted to represent using this particular name. Okay, so this line is Java's syntax which you can follow if you wish. An alternative way of creating is at the time of creation itself you declare the variables, and Java compiler will count how many variables have been listed here, and it will create that much size of data for us, memory location for us, referred by this particular name. So I have kept elaborated points for each of the things that I have spelled now regarding the arrays. You people can go through these points one after the other and get to know more details about arrays. Almost all the things I have spoken out clearly. So please do concentrate on that what I have spoken in the video. But one small point I would like to add here. Array is a name given to a collection of memory elements which are of same type. Plus, those elements will be stored side by side. Side by side is called as contiguously or continuously. Okay. So array elements are always contiguous in nature or continuous in nature. They will be saved side by side sequentially and they will be referred by a common name. And when you wanted to specifically mention a specific element in the array, you will make use of a subscript and tell that whether you are accessing the fourth element or fifth element or sixth element. And array as set of normal variables, as I said, in case of Java, there is no garbage values. In arrays also, all the elements are initialized as per the data types that are available. So one program I have kept just to demonstrate how the arrays are declared. Here there is mylist arrays and I have put it some values here. So Java compiler will check how many values have been listed. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will just create 4 memory locations of double type. And those 4 memory locations will be listed or represented by a common name called as mylist. Okay. So my list of 0 will represent 1.9, my list of 1 will represent 2.9, my list of 2 will represent 3.4, my list of 3 will represent 3.5. So now to access individual elements, we will make use of, as I said, subscript index values. I wanted to just display them back on the screen. To display them, since there are multiple values, and I wanted to print the println for all the values, I will put that println in a for loop. Starting from 0th location till the end of the list, that means till the length of the array, I am going to have displaying matter. Similarly, to calculate summation, I have kept the logic here. It's very plain and simple. Similarly, to find the largest element in that given array, I have kept what is the logic behind it. Please go through this logic and try to trace the program and let me know whether you have any doubt in it or not. Okay, so this was with regard to the arrays. One more program I have kept here, trying to explicitly assign some values in that one. And once the values are given, I have introduced one more for loop over here. That for loop is called as shortcut for loop for our arrays. Here, if you recollect back, this for loop was having an initialization of value, conditional checking, and then change of variable, iterative variable, right? Initialization of iterative variable, conditional checking of iterative variable, and change of value of iterative variable. But here, instead of iterative variables, I and so on will not have any initialization or conditional checking or something like that. If I just want to list all the contents of the array, there is no condition to be checked up. Till the end of the list, I want something to be done. I want just the things to be displayed up. For that reason, I'm using a variable k and I'm associating it with that of marks. Here marks is my array. Okay, I'm taking one variable k and I'm associating it with that of arrays. Okay, now once it is associated, this k will represent the first value. For the first iteration, that means for the first execution of the for body, the k value will be 0. Once that first execution is over, for the second time, k value will get automatically incremented to 1. So further, after completion of the first iteration, it will go for k is equal to 2. That means automatically it is initializing and incrementing. There is nothing to be checked for. Okay, so This is called as shortcut for loop or for each loop, something like that. So please go through that program also. Now, not just that, I have tried to take the input from the keyboard and try to put it into the arrays. Okay. One more program I have shown here how to read the values into the arrays also. Please go through it carefully. So after executing it, what will be the end result that has also been displayed? Linear search and binary search logic, you are well aware from your C++ part. So again, I'm not going to explain about it. I've kept that logical part here, but the main primary motive of keeping these programs was to demonstrate what is an array declaration in Java. Okay. If you want those two logics, please let me know separately. Maybe in a physical class, I will be able to explain it because it requires some onboard computation to be shown, without which it cannot be done. And right now, we don't have much time to do it. That's why I'm not going for it. I have kept for linear search, binary search, and recursive binary search all the logics back again. Please go through these programs carefully. And its computational details have also been kept in the screen. Please go through them. Bubble sort has also been kept. Few more example programs that are related with the arrays and few of their logics have also been kept. So please go through these concepts. Now coming on for 2D, two-dimensional arrays, which are nothing but the matrices. In case of two-dimensional arrays, we will have two subscripts, not just one. The first subscript will represent the number of rows, second subscript will represent number of columns. So if you are representing a specific row and column type of computation, then you will use two-dimensional arrays. For here, I have kept one program to read the two-dimensional array computation to be done, and I have just shown you its purpose. Here I have kept how to have the logic for addition of two matrices. This was the same program which you did in C++ also, but its Java version is being kept in front of you. Similarly, transpose of a matrix, the same program have been kept. Now applets, which we have seen in the third unit, that particular applet is being used to make use of two-dimensional arrays. Here one function has been introduced to you called as init. This init is a predefined method inside applet class, and it is meant for initializing of some variable values. So I wanted to make use of an array variable over here, and I'm initializing its individual elements one after the other by using the two for loops. Coming on for types of operators, there are these many types of operators, which are arithmetic, bitwise, relational, and logical operators. These are the same which have been coming from C, C++ orientation. Coming on for arithmetic specifically, we have got this list of operators coming in. There is no change at all. It is the same with regard to C and C++. I have kept one program for each of it, demonstrating what the values will be coming as. So please do that, concentrate on those type of things. Just to show where these arithmetic operators will be mainly used, I have kept one example program to calculate prime numbers. Concentrate on the program and try to trace how those values are being generated. Now coming on for bitwise operators, these operators are going to work on each and every single bit of that particular number, and the list has been kept here. There is no change, are the same as that of your C and C++. And their operations, how this functionality will work has been kept over here. Please learn it and practice it. Relational operators, these are also same. There is no change with regard to C and C++. Logical operators, they are also the same. logical set is available here. Their programs have been kept here. Please go through them. Now coming on for precedence, the same precedence that was there in C and C++ is being followed. Unary operators will be given the highest precedence. That means unary incrementation, unary decrementation, plus positive number generation or negative number generation, or not operator, logical not, or complement operator, or checking the type of for operator. This type is a operator itself. Type word itself is a operator. Just like new is a operator, type is a operator. This operator will return what is the type of variable, what is the data type of the variable back to its caller. After a unary operator, preference will be given for arithmetic operators, then for shift operators, comparison, bitwise, so on, till the assignment operator. Do remember, assignment operator will be the least given priority operator. Coming on for control flow statements are the same selection statements that are if, else, and switch. Looping statements, while loop, do while loop, and for loop. Transfer statements that are break, continue, return, try, catch, finally, and assert. Try, catch, finally, and assert will be learned in the 5th and 6th unit. Don't worry for now. Just to have its illustration, I have kept elaboration for the flowchart as well as its definition and content. I don't think at this age of time I need to explain it. I have also explained it when it was there in the 2nd unit. So please do concentrate. What is the syntax? I have clearly shown to you. What is if else, ladder, nested if else, all those things. I have explicitly kept one program for each of it with their corresponding flowcharts. So coming next, switch statements. How the switch statements will work, we have already seen in our 2nd unit as well as in C and C++. We have learned it. Its flowchart has been kept along with its syntax and its theoretical definitions. Same one program has been kept trying to represent how the things will work in them, while also I have kept its syntax, its flowchart, its explanation for do while also. For the for loop, there are 3 types of for loops coming here. The one which is simple for loop, you are well aware of it from the C and C++ background to JavaScript background. For each or enhanced for loop or shortcut for loop, we have seen with regard to our marks array, we had int k is equal k colon marks. We have associated with the variable k to our marks array, and I have told you that once we associate a variable to the array, it will point to the first element of the array and it will get automatically incremented after execution of the body of the for loop, and it will continue till the end of the loop, end of the array is attained. Once the array is finished, the for loop will close. Okay, there is one more category of loops called as labeled for loop, where you want to jump from the control of for loop to a specific label location. So for each of it, I have kept one example program. Please go through it and try to understand what is given over there. Now here, mostly in case of your interviews and further, you will be asked for generation of patterns. For pattern generation, I have kept one program here for multiple. These are not there in your syllabus, but I have kept it just for your reference sake. Okay, how to have multiple patterns to be generated, multiple line patterns to be generated, diagonal patterns to be generated, or inverted V pattern to be generated, V pattern, simple V shape patterns to be generated. So till here, we have seen our 4th unit. 4th unit coming further, classes and objects. We'll go through them one after the other, but I'm not going to hurry up. Till this point, I'm going to share the notes. You people today as a homework should practice the 3rd unit as well as the 4th unit till classes and objects concept. Okay. there is any doubt till here, please raise a doubt. We'll try to discuss about it. I have opened the chat box. If you have got any doubt, you can put it in the chat box.